Hi, I'm Nancy Reynolds. I want to say thank you for joining us for the Global SU Share Fair. Once again, it's a really fun day, and I am just sorry that I couldn't be there in person. But I hope you enjoy the video of my card. Let me just put you down on the desktop, and we'll see the card. It is an Easel card. It is not what I started out making. I saw this really good, cool blog. I believe it was Tammy White, and she did a fun fold. It's a Z fold, but her fun fold, the idea was to make it in the sideways orientation, the longer, and then you could sit it up. It opens flat. You can sit it up and see both sides. You can put it on a counter like this. It stands so many ways. And I started to make that and realized that my flowers were going a taller direction. And I didn't want to cut off the stems to do that. So I turned it into an easel card. That's the good thing when you're playing with paper. You can switch midstream. So what I'm using is Cajun Craze for my card base. And basically it's a half sheet of paper. So it doesn't matter if you're imperial or metric, just cut it the long way. So for imperial, it's 11 inches by 4¼ inches. For the metric, it's 29.7 centimeters by 10.5 centimeters. When you're going to score your piece, you're going to score it in half, so 5½ or 14.9 centimeters. And then you're going to do one more score line, and you're going to take half of that and again score it in half, 2¾ inches for imperial, or 14.9 centimeters, I believe. Nope, 7.4 centimeters. Anyway, well, I'll show you that when we get to it. Bumblebee cardstock. And I decided to use the shimmer white because there wasn't a lot of shimmer on the card, although the gold does stand out. So I used the little sparkly white for stamping on and for my little writing space inside. I had to add gold. I just had to. You have to have something bright and shiny. And what I did was I put the adhesive sheets on the back. These are, I don't know, if you use the adhesive sheets, I think they're really fun. You get a strip with 3 pieces, and you just pull one off and you can put your cardstock down onto this, because that's where the sticky stuff is. Leave the backing on it, and then you can run it through your cut and emboss machine, and you will have stickers. Now, I didn't think to do that on the first card, because I sometimes forget that I actually do own adhesive sheets, but I did it for the second. You can see on here where my line is. So we'll put those aside. I'm using Cajun Craze ink. We wanted to feature a punch today, and I'm using my Label Me Fancy punch. It's gotten a little bit of use over the years. It's not quite as shiny as it used to be. And I'm also using some Designer Series paper. This is my focal piece. This is on the inside. I thought it brought the 2 colors together. And this piece is what I cut my coneflower or echinacea out of. I just liked the variation of color, and I thought that would look pretty for the front. So I took my Bumblebee cardstock, and there's not a lot of measuring in this card because I used dies. So I used my the Color and Contour dies, and this is the largest one I used on the Bumblebee. And you can see that here. So first I cut it out, and then I took it and I used the time-worn type 3D embossing folder, and I embossed it. Because if you emboss first and cut second, it does flatten the embossing just a little bit, and I didn't want that to happen. The other things I cut out is I cut out my Designer Series paper with the second size of the Color and Contour. Sorry about that. And then the third piece I cut out using color and contour. I love these little scallops, don't you? They make me excited. So I cut one for the inside because I thought it needs to have a little bit of room to write. So we've got a little writing space. We've got our sentiment and our card. Out of gold, I cut 2 of the flowers, and this is from the Nature's Harvest dies, Harvest dies, which are part of the suite, the Nature's Harvest suite. I also used the thank you stamp, and I used this little bush to stamp with. Color and contour. Here are the, there were only 2 I didn't use. I am sure glad we've got those. And here is the Harvest Meadow Designer Series papers. And I tend to cut mine in 4 inches by 6 inches. So I get 6 card fronts from a piece. And then when I go to use it, I've got a little piece to cut off that I can use on my envelope or however I want to decorate. So let's get started. Let's make a card. I'm going to start with the stamping because there's so little of it. So I'm going to start with the envelope. And I kind of like that graduated look in color. So first generation, second generation, and third generation. It's kind of a nice little corner filler. And then I did the same almost on the back flap. I did first generation and second generation, but third is really light. So I know that's going to drive somebody nuts that I did that. But I do like to stamp off on my paper. So here we are. Our envelope is ready to go. Here's our, oh, we need a sentiment. So let me take my thank you and just stamp that on my sparkle paper. I know it's called shimmery white, but I like sparkle paper better. It makes me feel very festive and sparkly. There we are. And let's set that aside for a moment because I want to show you the card fold. So here it is, half sheet, folded in half, and then this one just folds back on itself. Scoring it is always good, but using the bone folder to put that down is even better. And your piece, you need a quarter sheet piece to go on the front. So I am just going to glue that down right now because you know me. The fewer pieces to mess with, the better off I am. And also, there's less chance that I'm going to lose it and set it aside. So here we are. Just take it on. Glue gives you a little bit of wiggle room, which is why it's really good for pieces like this. To line them up, scrunch them in place if you need to. And here we are. So there's our card. If we were making it in a flatter orientation, it would open like that and stand up, as I said, like that or like that. But that's not what we're doing. And I just flat glued this on the inside. Normally I don't put the top back on the glue while I'm using it because it sits upside down in a container. Doesn't seem to dry out for one card at a time. There we are. Actually, this just goes right here. And I don't usually like to use glue on white because I think over time it shows through just a little bit. So I will use my Stampin' Seal, which I did not break off properly last time. As you all know, the Stampin' Seal works really great, and it's best to break the adhesive by turning it up straight and then lifting. So there, we've got the inside almost done. The outside is almost as easy to do. I didn't want to add a lot of extra dimension because we've got that little fold, so it's going to be a little thicker anyway. So I went ahead and I flat glued everything. So here we are with our embossed piece. And that's a little crooked. I'm going to grab my bone folder and just reinforce that just a little bit right in there. Then I will put on my Designer Series paper. And Cajun Craze and Bumblebee, they're not the colors I normally am attracted to. They're not my go-to colors. But I thought for this fall card, they would be perfect. Now here we have my two pieces in gold, which I've somehow gotten stuck together, with their sticker sheet. The adhesive, you just pull the backing off carefully. And set it aside. And then I can put these down, and they are adhered and stuck. Isn't that fun? And easy. The same with this one. I think I'm going to have a little more trouble getting this one apart though. Take your pick tool to the rescue. I hope. There's one piece. And here's the other piece. Didn't quite get my sticker sheets next to each other. So it looks like I've got a little bit of a gap, which is fine. It would be better if I wasn't trying to pull off the backing. Okay, that's good. And we'll put this one down here at an angle. Sticker down. And I did not do a sticker sheet on my coneflower because I want the top raised. So I'm just going to put a couple dimensionals on the back of it. Oh, let me take off those backings. Now, I tell you, I almost always take my little sticker sheet pieces and dimensional backs and put them in the garbage can because they're light and they float around. And they wind up where they shouldn't be. Okay, a little glue on the bottom part to stick this down. And there we go. Then to finish it off, I took a piece of this open weave ribbon with my ribbon scissors, see, marked with ribbon. Cut a little slant. And I decided to use glue dots to hold the ribbon down. So again, you take your pick tool, comes in really handy for this. Here. I'm going to put that there. And one in about the middle-ish. And another one over at the other side. And put this, there's our front. Needs a little bit of embellishment though. So we've got, as part of that Harvest Meadow set, there's the brushed metallic adhesive backed dots. And aren't those cool? And we're going to put a couple on this side and one over there. Now, the only thing we've got left to do is to punch out our sentiment. And I'm just going to line that up so it looks like it's straight to my eye. Give it a little punch. And then I am going to do the same with cinnamon cider. Take my scissors, just snip it, and then a little glue on this end so that I can line it up and have a cinnamon cider edge to my thank you. And then maybe have to nudge that down a little bit there because we don't want it showing. Then back to my dimensionals. And I'm probably going to put 4 on because I really do want this to be up. Because this is important. It's important to have a good, solid stopper. Oh, I've got things in the way. I'm sorry. Raise it up. And line it up. And there's our second card. So an easel card is a really easy card to make, but it's got a little bit of a pizzazz to it, a little pop. So let's pull these down. They don't look exactly the same ever, but I hope that you've enjoyed it, and I hope you're enjoying the share fair. And I will see you next time in person. Take care and happy crafting!